Hello guys and welcome to a new IELTS Express lesson. Today is all about task 1 and it actually is going to be an introductory lesson to task 1 of the writing paper. Our lesson objective for today is to actually introduce you to task 1 of the writing paper, and then we're going to interpret visual data. So grab your notepad because you will be working on 6 different activities, and this lesson is crucial if you don't know exactly what you have to do in task 1 of the academic writing paper. If you're new to writing reports, this is how I like to call them for IELTS academic, and this lesson is very good if you're starting at band 4 and you're aiming to get a band 5 and band for a 5.5. And I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to play some chill music while you're working. Please let me know if it's too distracting or if it's not what you're looking for. I mean, if you need something, you need quiet during your work time. Okay, so if you're ready, give me a thumbs up and let's get started. All right, first we're going to start with a little warm-up. I would like you to have a look at those 2 purple boxes. You've got small families and large families. I would like you to write a list of both advantages and disadvantages of living in a large or small family. You've got 3 minutes to do this. Now, there are 2 ways you can do this activity. You can either do it all by yourself, and you can actually record while doing this. You can list the advantages and disadvantages. You can record yourself, then play the recording back, and you can listen for words you may be repeating, mistakes, pronunciation, or times when your speech is slow. Or if you don't want to record yourself, you can simply write down both advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so here it goes. You've got 3 minutes. Okay, time's up. Please let me know what you have written in the comment section. All right, and now we're moving on. I'd like you to have a look at this test task. This is what you'll be seeing if you're taking the academic writing test. You're going to have the test question, and then below you're going to have a visual. Okay, now I would like you to give you some tips before we actually start. This is why I have started with this one, because it's extremely important. Task 1, it's a factual description. Now, facts is the main word, is the key word here. Facts, yeah, objective. And the question might ask you to describe a bar chart, a diagram, a map, a table, a process, a flow chart, or a combination of the two. You might have a line graph with a table, or 2 pie charts, or 3 bar charts. It's a combination. And you might have more, again, as I told you, more than one chart or image on a connected theme. And again, it's extremely important that you should write at least 150 words. Now, you're going to see on your question paper, the chart below gives information about da-da-da-da-da-dum. They're not going to mention the type of the visual. This is what you have to identify. They're always going to say chart. And they're always going to write this word below. Okay? This is for guidance purposes only, below, because you see the picture, you see the visual under the test task. And then you're going to have the question, what you have to do. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where possible. Okay, so we've got some keywords here which are very important. Summarize, which means that you have to synthesize, you have to give the quintessence of the visual, the information, by doing what? Selecting and reporting the main features, make comparisons where relevant. Okay, it's very important for you to summarize, so you don't have to write about every single piece of information. First of all, because you don't have the time, you've got only 20 minutes, so you have to select. They want to see whether you have this skill, so to say, the main features, and then if you know how to make comparisons. And you have to write at least 150 words. Now, what you should do before you start writing? First of all, you should plan. This is extremely important, both in task 1 and in task 2. You should take, I don't know, I recommend you take around 3 minutes to read the question very carefully, to underline keywords, to study the image, the title, to understand what information have. And it's very important for you to pay attention to any information in the image, because you need to include all the main points. So you need to pay attention on the vertical axis and the horizontal, what we call the legend. And then the title is also very important because it gives you extra information. It's also very important to organize information into groups. And we're going to talk about the structure of a task 1, which is quite simple. It's very mathematical. And you have to use to identify the connections or the relationships between the information. This is where you have the comparison part. You have to identify, which is again extremely important, the overview, the main information given by the image. Now think about this picture, and you need to give the bird's eye view. Let's say that you see this from the top, from a very high building. You need to give the bird's eye view. Think about the overview like the trailer of the movie. The trailer convinces you whether you should see the movie. It gives you maybe the highlights, the actors, the action, whether it's a drama or comedy, but it doesn't give you the details. Yeah, this is what an overview is. Okay, while you write, it's also very important. You have to start with an introduction sentence and 1 or 2 overview sentences. And it's also, as I said, it's very mathematical because it's a certain pattern, it's a certain structure. And if you follow this and if you keep practicing, of course, I mean, you won't get band 9 if you simply go and sit the test and you haven't practiced before and then you think, oh, I'm going to do it, even if your grammar or vocabulary is spotless. No, you need to know exactly how to do it. And there is a certain structure that you should do it. And then again, it's you need to write very clearly so the examiner can read your handwriting, and again, to write at least 100 words or you will lose marks. And then I'm going to tell you what you have to do after you write, but as we move on through the lesson. But before you start writing, I would strongly recommend you to take 3 minutes. So you have 20 minutes, yeah? If you take 3 minutes to plan and then another 2 minutes at the end of the report to revise, to check, to reread, to cross out mistakes, you'll still have, if my math is correct, 15 minutes to actually write. And I'm going to tell you that 15 minutes is enough for you to write a 150 word report, provided, now this is very important, provided that you have practiced before. Once you get the nick of it, you're going to figure out exactly how to do it. Okay, so let's move on. This is the bar chart that we'll be focusing on for the time being. And what I'd like you to do is to have a look at activity 1. You've got 2 minutes for this one. I would like you to look at the same bar chart that I've told you before and answer questions 1 to 4. Here we're looking at the understanding the task. This is what we're doing right now. Okay, so you've got 2 minutes for this one. Okay, time's up. Let's have a look at the answers. So, who does the chart give information about? Canadians. Yeah. What do the blue bars show? We look in the legend, close relatives. What about the orange bars? Close friends. Do the numbers on the y-axis, the vertical one, show total numbers or percentages, and it's extremely important you don't mix this up. Numbers are not percentages and percentages are not numbers. They're different. Do the numbers on the x-axis, the horizontal, show total numbers or percentages? They're total numbers. None, 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 5 to 8, 9 or more. Now, as you can see, you spent 2 minutes doing this. Okay, let's see, in the exam, in the heat of the exam, you're a little bit stressed, anxious, so it might take you 3 minutes. Okay, but this is what you should be doing. you should identify the key features, and then you should try to plan to see whether you can identify the relationships or the connections between the information you've got, the pieces of information you got on the chart. All right, let's move on to the next one. Exactly what I told you about task 1 structure. Now, it's very, very easy. I strongly recommend you go on the 4-paragraph structure: introduction, overview, feature 1, and feature 2. Okay, now you might ask, all right, okay, I know what an introduction is, but what about the other 3? Okay, no need to worry. I'm going to explain to you in a moment. Introduction, as I told you, you have to start with an introduction sentence, which is the paraphrase of the question. And which is the question? The question is the task that you have, the one that we had initially. The chart below shows da 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 da. You have to paraphrase it. What does that mean? To paraphrase means you use different words, synonyms, and you express the same meaning. If you copy the test, the question from the task word for word, you're going to be penalized because those are not your words. So basically, here is where your vocabulary comes in handy, because they will going to test whether you know synonyms for certain words. Then the overview. Why is the overview very important? Well, you need to write 1 or 2 overview sentences. The overview is the big picture. So, for example, if we go a little bit back here, and if you just simply look for 30 seconds at this bar chart, what are the things that pop, that literally jump right at you? That here we have none, yeah, that here are quite equal, then we have a drop. So we have none at the beginning, and then we have 9 or more. How many close relatives, friends do you have? Okay, only a very small percentage has, 5% have none. And then as we have 5 to 8, around 30%. This is what the overview is. Yeah, you simply give the key events, what really jumps right at you. Don't go into details. That's very, very important. Don't go into details, because this is what you're going to do in feature 1 and feature 2. Feature 1 and feature 2 is 1 paragraph for each. What you're going to do here, you're going to select exactly what the question asks you, the details, and you're going to compare. You're going to make comparisons where relevant, and you're going to support all your comparisons with examples from the visual, with numbers or percentages. It's pretty much similar to the essay when you have to give an idea, you present an idea, then you support it with examples and you explain it. This is the same thing. This is what I told you is very, very mathematical, because if you follow this pattern, there's no way it can go wrong. So let's have a look, because I told you a few minutes back that you need 15 minutes to write this. Okay, so you have an introduction. Let's say you have 1 to 2 sentences. The overview, let's say 1 to 2. And then you have another 3 to 4 sentences here and 3 to 4 sentences here. Now let's do some simple maths. Okay, so I have 1 plus 1, 2 plus 6, 8. And then 4 plus 8, 12. Okay, 12 sentences, and you've got 15 minutes. I was terrible at maths, but I think that you've got more than 1 minute for each sentence. When I'm talking about sentence, I'm talking about sentences like complex and compound sentences, not like the table is big or something like this. That's a simple sentence, okay? So you've got more than a minute for every single sentence. And if you keep practicing, it's going to get very easy. And this is the body of the report. It's very important for you to include facts, numbers, to illustrate your main points. And it's very important to highlight the main points. And again, do not add your opinion or try to explain in any way why things happen, Remember what I told you at the beginning is factual. You only explain and you only describe what you see. As simple as that. Don't introduce your opinion. Keep your opinion for the essay. When you introduce your opinion, that's subjective. We don't care about that, and the examiner might consider that part irrelevant, and you might be penalized because you might not have 150 words. Again, write clearly so the examiner can read your handwriting, and write at least 150 words or you will lose marks. Now, after you write in those 2 minutes, when you have finished writing, it's very important you read a description or summary or report, call it as you like it, and then you have to check that it makes sense and that the ideas are organized logically. Again, correct any incorrect language, punctuation, spelling. Make sure you just simply cross out any changes neatly, and then you write the correction neatly, either above or below them. Don't doodle, don't scribble. Think about your writing paper as your job interview. It has to be neat and clean, and it's the way you, I know it might sound a little bit weird now, is the way you sell yourself. All right? All right, so this is the structure which is going to be applied regardless the visual you're going to have, be it bar chart, pie chart, line graph, diagram, process, flow chart, table, or whatever. You need to have an introduction, you need to have an overview, and then you need to describe the main features. All right, now we can move on. And we're talking about the introduction, yeah? The beginning of a summary of a chart introduces what the chart is about. Now you've got 3 introductions. Which introduction is the best? The best introduction for the chart in the activity you have? The one with the Canadians. Okay, if it's not clear, you can go back, have a look, and then come back to the activity. I would like you to read them very carefully. And it's okay if you get it wrong, if you haven't done any task 1 practice, because I'm going to explain you why the others are incorrect, because there's only 1. Okay, you've got 2 minutes for this one. Here it goes. Okay, time's up. Let's see which is the correct answer, and it's obviously C. Now let's see why. First of all, as I told you, you need to paraphrase the question. So you need to say the bar chart Yeah, you need to be very specific about the type of chart you have. They won't do that, but you have to say the bar chart, the pie chart, the line graph. You have to discard the word below, as I told you, just for guidance purposes only. You cannot say the bar chart below. There's no bar chart below. You just simply write the summary, the description, and then you have to paraphrase the question and everything around the bar chart, the legend and the titles. This is why I ask you to pay close attention to the x-axis, to the y-axis. The number of close friends and the number of close relatives that Canadians have, and then it gives the percentage of people with specific numbers of friends and relatives ranging from none to 9 or more. Now, if somebody reads this, they should know, oh, okay, so it's about Canadians, about close friends, it's about relatives. You have to be very specific, you have to be very clear. What's wrong with the other ones? First of all, the first one, it doesn't follow the pattern that you should follow. Some Canadians say they have very close relatives or friends, while others have many more. It's very ambiguous. Whereas the second one is good up until the second sentence. A surprising number of people. Now, this is personal opinion. Why is this surprising? Is this surprising because some people don't have any close relatives or close friends? Why is this important to you? Why should you mention this? So the only correct option here and the best introduction here is C. All right, so this is what an introduction should look like. Let's move on to the next activity. Here, you're going to do the reverse. You're going to read the introduction, and then you have to complete the heading labels in the chart. It's a different chart. We're done with the Canadians. Here we have something else. Now you've got 2 minutes to read the introduction very carefully, and then you have to label the head. You have to label the heading labels. All right, here we go. All right, time's up. Here are the answers. We've got British men and women aged 20 to 29 with specific numbers of friends. We've got women, men and women, of course. Then we've got numbers 1, 0, 1, and then 8 or more. Okay, let me know what you've done in the comment section. We're moving on. Next activity. You're going to read part of a student's summary of a chart in the previous activity, and you have to complete the introductory sentences with 1 or 2 words in each gap. You have to focus only on the introduction. You can have a look at the bar chart if you're not very sure, if you don't know exactly what to do. You can go back and forth. So here you are paraphrasing the test task and you are giving specific information. You've got 3 minutes to do this. Here it goes. Time's up. Okay, and the answers are, it's a bar chart which gives information about British people in their 20s who answered the question, how many close friends do you have? It shows that percentages of men and women giving answers that range from none or 1 to 8 or more. Okay, not very complicated. It's super easy. It's all about practice, trust me. And it's just following a pattern. All right, we move on to the 5th activity. Now let's focus on the 2nd and the 3rd paragraphs. So what does the student do in the later paragraphs? Do they give an opinion on the main features or do they describe the main features? Now remember what I told you at the beginning, what you should be doing in task 1 of the academic writing paper and what you shouldn't be doing. You've got 2 alternatives, only one is correct. Read both paragraphs and choose the right answer. Here we go. Okay, time's up, and the correct answer is B, obviously. We do not give opinions. No, 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 no. Bad, bad, very bad. We keep our opinions for our speaking test or for writing task 2, both in academic and in general. Okay, the first paragraph is what we call an overview. And how do we know that? Because it starts with the word overall. Overall means the bird's eye view. Overall, so the things that strike me the most is that British women in their 20s have more close friends than men of the same age. And I also give another striking thing or information. However, nearly 1/3 of both men and women say they have at least 8 close friends. So I'm giving the big picture right now. Now, if I move on to the next paragraph, this would be feature 1, in which I give detailed descriptions. And how do I know that? Because I use numbers, because I use the data from the bar chart. 10% of what? Men. 5% women. And then I have comparisons, both genders, the percentages, and I use verbs which show increase, decrease, and I can make comparisons. Numbers of friends increases. Nothing too complicated. Trust me, it's super easy. All you have to do is to organize yourself very well, keep practicing, and to always take 3 minutes at the beginning of the writing tests to plan. It's extremely crucial. All right, we're moving on to the very last activity. What you have to do here is to write the beginning or the introduction of a summary of the chart on the right. I'd like you to write 2 sentences introducing the main topic. You've got 2 minutes to do so. Please be very careful. Look at the legend, look at the title, look on both axes, the vertical, the horizontal. Remember the pattern that you have to use, and write 2 sentences introducing the main topic. Here it goes. Okay, time's up, and the answer is this one. The bar chart, always remember to specify the type of the chart, shows what? The frequency. How often Canadians contact relatives and friends. It gives information in percentages ranging from making contact every day to doing so once a month or less. Okay, so we've got synonyms. 2 or 3 times every day. Yeah, okay, every day to doing so once a month or less. And then we've got percentages, we've got the bar chart, nothing too complicated. Now remember, this is satisfactory vocabulary for someone who starts from band 4 and wants to get to band 5 or 5.5. If you want more complex and sophisticated vocabulary, I'm going to deal with this in other lessons. If you want to start from band 6 and you want to get to band 7, or if you want to start from band 5 and you want to get to band 6. All right, that would be all for today. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you have any questions, if there are any things that are unclear, and that's totally fine, please ask the questions, drop your questions in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. If you found it useful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends so they might also learn something new, and see you next time at another IELTS Express lesson. Take care. Bye bye.